My name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I wanted to make this video a quick one. Uh, I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in '41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of the twin Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. Both twins, Carl and Peggy, were killed by their mother. She was unwed. And it was a pigsty, really a pigsty I grew up in, and you can imagine what that family were like. So they kept it secret, and I found out in '83 when I was in a political campaign, flown out to Larry Flint's, and his limo driver was with British intelligence. And I found out that my mother is Georgia O'Keeffe, the artist, her sister, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, and I have no pictures of her. I usually put pictures on here. I've done videos in the past, and I wrote a book about Mindcontrol Murders. But what I wanted to focus on now was um, the fact that, well, I'm Margaret Ann Windsor. I'm Victoria II. I'm the legal heir to the British Crown. And my father is King Edward VIII, who was taken down with nothing but lies, illegal, 99-year seal put on it, which kind of covered up my birth in '39. My own Uncle George VI, who's illegal, helped take down his own brother with Joe Kennedy, who was appointed ambassador to England 36 to 46 when they kicked him out. And the New World Order, the Jews, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, Roosevelt, and all of the American presidents, with the exception of maybe Jimmy Carter, are part of the Freemasons and the New World Order. And I would find it hard to believe that Jimmy Carter got elected if he weren't Freemason. Or I'll tell you one that they killed because he couldn't be bought. You couldn't buy his soul, and that would have been Governor George Wallace of Alabama. So I want to go to what's going on. I've told about on video about my kidnapping, and the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and the news media will not tell the truth. They're controlled by the Rockefellers and the New World Order, which includes Elizabeth. She's part of it, and Charles and her whole brood. And so you go from there in this country. And by the way, Obama is a part of it too, and the Clintons. But I want to say that after my kidnapping, it changed everything, taking my father down and then kidnapping me and installing George, who really works for the American government, and then so forth and so on. So has Elizabeth on down. They allowed the United States to put military bases all over British soil. Was one of the treaties that was so illegal that caused so much havoc to Great Britain in the kidnapping me. Now then, the last years, well, I want to say this first, that after my kidnapping in '47, I believe, is when Israel was given back to the Jews. So the Jews have done their handiwork on me too, believe me, and there's a lot more. And, you know, I'm not even allowed to say that. It's so that you have to edit your speech. No matter what's been done to me, the Americans get mad if I say about my kidnapping and about what has been done to me. I've even, after doing the book, had antifreeze put in me and should have died April Fool Day of '80. Now, I could go on back what was done to me and my sons because of our name and who kidnapped us, but I've done that or tried to on tape. I wanted to go into the shooting. I wrote about mind-control murders done in patterns. And there was a shooting up in Overland Park, Kansas, yeah. And they are saying that it was related to the Jewish community retirement home there. I'm not sure that's true. 3 people were killed, and they're calling him that he's a former Klansman and all this, and it's a hate crime. I have to ask you, America, what do you call what you've done to me? I'm 75 years old. You brought me over here at age 2, and you have broken every law in the book. I've had no civil rights. I can't get an attorney. I'm a hostage, just as Great Britain is a hostage. And it's been a joke to you. So is that not a hate crime? What do you call it? You must hate my guts. I know you do. I've met you one-on-one. Now, I probably wanted to put something else on here, but I'm going to put this. Something was done to me, and I know what was done when I was kidnapped, during the kidnapping, and being brought over here. Now then, I found out that I work for doctors, by the way. That's how I found out about mind control. I knew about murders being committed in patterns, but the mind control came in when I worked for a cardiovascular doctor and found out that he had put chips in a heart bypass, and the person that he put it in was head of a corporation. So you can modify behavior, you can control their decision-making, etc. So I won't go back into that. I found out, though, that I'm allergic to chemicals. In the last years, when I really was exiled up here to Roanoke, and when I try to leave, I have to come back here. So I've lived on the Appalachian Trail. I've starved, and I've frozen, and I've walked the side of the road in the hot sun and the freezing rain and the ice and begged and everything. And people are afraid of mind control, and quite frankly, the law enforcement is the one that's doing it. And they can get stuff on people, and honestly, people don't care. They hate me. It's weird. It really is. But over the years, I would make this short. I have lived in affordable corporate suites here. They're easy to get into, and to somebody else, they're kind of nice. To me, that's not my experience. The man that owns it's Jewish, and he's complied with the law enforcement that's helped. This is how they force me to move. It's all set up before I get there. I mean, my whereabouts is controlled. Whether it was up on the mountain, they'd come up there and spray me. If I got a tent or a sleeping bag, they'd soak it with chemicals, and I'd be left sleeping out where a snake could get me or anything else, you know, or trying to wash it with no money, walk up and down the trail. They've run me from one place to the other, which is, if anybody's ever walked the trail, they know what I'm talking about. Before I quit here on this, everywhere I go, they suddenly are cleaning carpets, or they're bug spraying, or they just come in and soak my linen right in my face. There's nowhere to go with it. I'm allergic to chemicals, and it's an immune disorder, and it makes your immune work against itself. So over the years, they have soaked me wherever I've gone, and to where the last place I left was hideous. So I had to come back here to corporate suites. And now then, the day I moved in, I was so sick, and I have shingles, and that is from my immune system being so low, and it really has knocked me for a loop. I shouldn't be around any chemicals. I am really in bad shape. I come in here and I meet with, and these people all know, these are the ones that have done it over the years to me too, the corporate suites owned by the Jewish man. I come in here and the bug man is waiting to spray the day I come in here on the 3rd. And now then they knock at the door and they tell me that they're going to shampoo the carpets. And, you know, the whole attitude has changed. They don't give a damn about it. It's cold. It's cold. And I don't know if the Mindcontrol Murders, that's an agent, FBI agent, said way back. He said, you know what you're telling? It bores them. And he faked yawning. He says it's only when they find out how it affects them that they'll care. So I've told you about Mindcontrol Murders. John Lennon was killed. Elvis Presley was killed with it. And there's a long list like the Tucson, Arizona, the Aurora, Colorado, the Columbine, the Sandy Hook. I could keep going, but they go back way before 1970, the use of it. And what they've done to me and my health, I'm just about dead. And it's strange, under certain circumstances, people have no conscience whatsoever.